Asher, we're so happy to have you join us on another episode of the True North Weddings podcast.
Yeah, dude, I'm so stoked to be here.
Asher,
season 2.
It's been
second
a good
episode. I was in the first season, and now we're here, and it's great.
It's been a good season, and we had to have you back. And Asher is not only our producer, but also a wedding photographer and videographer who is firmly planted in and well acquainted with the wedding industry. So he's the perfect guest to join Desi and I in talking about something that is near and dear to my heart. And that is truly preparing your heart for the wedding day. Now, that sounds pretty woo-woo, but anyone who knows me and knows me as a wedding planner knows that I really mix the woo into everything that I do and all of the planning and advice giving that I do. And so I'm excited in this episode to dive into that a little bit. And I feel like Asher really shares those values with me and approaches his photography business in much of the same way.
Totally.
So the perfect guest to join us. So we're going to talk about preparing your heart for the wedding day and dive into some of the key practices that we believe can really help with that. So let's do this. Welcome to True North Weddings, the podcast that helps you navigate an authentic path to your wedding day. I'm your host, Mariah McKechnie, and I'm excited to be your guide in finding your true north along the journey of wedding planning. Over the past 15 years, I've collected a wealth of wisdom and experience working with couples to not only plan an incredible wedding day, but also enjoy the process throughout the journey. I'm thrilled to have this podcast to share this knowledge with you. And on the pod, I'll feature love stories, interview wedding professionals, and give you my honest, unfiltered advice on how to follow your true north straight to the altar and enjoy every last minute of the party. So get ready for bold, beautiful, and inspiring real talk about real weddings and real challenges. Promise me you'll bring an open mind and heart as you listen. Your True North wedding is just ahead. Let's go. Okay, Asher, before we dive into the episode, I would love for you to tell the listeners a little bit more about you, because you are, fabulous.
Oh,
so
I love that.
I want them to know more.
So good. Well, if you haven't heard the episode that we did in season 1, that'll be down in the show notes. So go check it out. I also produce and edit this show. So I'm the one that's going to put it in the show notes. But yeah, I absolutely love doing weddings. I think when it comes to being in the production world of doing photo and video and podcasting and all these different things, marketing wise, sometimes people will say oh, well, why would you be a wedding photographer? It's kind of looked down on, I guess, or wedding videographer or whatever, you should be doing commercial work. You should be working on a narrative piece, a documentary piece, whatever. And I'm yeah, okay. First of all, that's annoying. Second of all, I would rather make something so special for someone that they get to cherish and look back on year after year, decade after decade. It's a piece of their family history rather than an ad or something that people actively spend their entire life trying to skip, right?
Oh my gosh.
When are the 5 seconds up and I can skip this ad? So, I love some of the business and branding work that I've done. I think that my approach to it because of this philosophy is a little bit different. But that all to say that there's such a special place in my heart for weddings. I absolutely love it. The working with the clients, the positivity, the party, it is literally the best job in the world to be able to just show up week after week and just party with people and celebrate, in this positivity, because there's so much, I think, negativity out there or complaining or this and that, or, and it's just, it's such a treat to be in an industry that is filled with so much positivity and celebration. So
that's so well said.
Yeah.
It's really true.
Yeah.
And it really gets into your soul.
Yeah.
And you just find yourself standing there in the midst, often with your other vendors being is this really my life?
Totally.
I get to do this? People pay me to do this?
Yeah.
It's one of the greatest feelings in the world. And people that love the wedding industry, it takes a lot from you. It's your weekends. It's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears and energy, but it really is unmatched in terms of return on on the heart.
Yeah.
So
Totally.
I love the topic of this episode because, like I said in the intro, I've found over so many years of working with couples that all of the trappings of a wedding that they think are what they need to do or have or plan, I think it's all a bunch of baloney. Like, throw it out. Who cares about your centerpieces? If you can't get yourself in a mindset to have a good time, the rest is nonsense.
Totally.
And I will tell couples that even in an initial conversation, and they're like, whoa, that is not how it's usually approached, right? Like, so much of what you encounter, Pinterest, magazines, like it's just all about like what's going to look like, what's going to go on the tables, what are you going to wear, like all this. And I'm involved in all of that stuff. I have other businesses that provide all of that stuff. So it's kind of a shocker that at the end of the day, I'm like, go to ground. You need to get your head on straight. If you can't have a good time and be present and have good family relationships, none of it just doesn't matter. So I try to pull my couples into that headspace in our conversations to remind them of that. And then we still talk about the fun stuff because, we have to put something on the tables, but let's get centered. How can you be present? How can you go into the day in the right headspace? And so it's timely that we're talking about this as people are really in the throes of wedding season and kind of finding themselves trapped in all of the details. How are you going to get back to like what's really important? So this is also on our website in our guidebook, which is our blog essentially. So Asher will link that in the show notes too. But I think this is going to be really valuable content, and I want to dive into it here. So are you ready?
I'm so excited.
Okay, the first one. So I'm going to give you 5 different ways that you can get into this headspace. The first one is something that I actually do before weddings as well, and I live through with this as a practice I do all the time. Visualization, and I know that also sounds like a bunch of mumbo jumbo, but it really works. So, what is visualization? It's truly closing your eyes and visualizing yourself moving through the day, moving through getting ready in your head, just like literally walking yourself, like almost like you're in a dream through each piece. And you can do this in sections, like maybe just move yourself through the ceremony. I do it to help me not forget things. Like as I'm going through all the details with a client, I'll then do a visualization process where I move through all that. And I'm like, oh, I need to ask them about this. But I want the client to focus on it in terms of how they're feeling. What are they experiencing? Who's there? Who do they want there? Like we'll confront this question often about like, who do you want at the first look? I will say to the couple, close your eyes and visualize who's there. And if it's just the two of them, there's your answer.
Yeah.
Like, don't overthink it. Let your brain tell you through visualized images the answer.
Yeah.
Do you do visualization? Is this a process that you've ever done?
I do it both like personally going into a wedding day, but also I do it a little bit with my clients too, because not all the time do they have a planner. You know, I think everyone makes a different decision on if they want to hire one or not, but I highly recommend they do. But if and when they don't, I think that we have a similar philosophy on like way that I help them like build their photography timeline. And I don't do all their wedding planning. Like there's so much more that goes into it, but particularly like the day of like timeline, and then particularly like the photography components, I really try to help people visualize what that looks like. And even as far back to like the first inquiry call that I have with them, one of the questions I ask is like, how do you want to feel on your wedding day as you're going through it? You know, like what's the most important thing to you? How do you want to feel? What do you want the flow to look like? Like, what are you cooking up? What are you dreaming of? And so like right away, I kind of root my ethos in the way that I approach the wedding day in that. And then that carries through all of our calls when we're talking about photography. And I'm sure there's many more like aspects to that we'll get to, but like on the topic of visualization particularly, there's that. And then for me personally, I use visualization going into a wedding day. And I'm like, I'm going to create beautiful images, right? I'm going to have a great time with these people. I am like their documentarian for their, for their family history. And it's like, so I give myself all of these like positive affirmations and these visualizations so that I go into the day and like those things will then happen. Yep. Whereas if you give yourself negative visualization or for negative experiences, those things might actually end up happening, if that's all you focus on. And so I like to focus on just like doing a really good job, serving my clients, creating beautiful images, taking the day as it comes, manifesting and visualizing that beautiful light. Or if it's maybe not the best weather outside, like getting really creative and like, how can I use light inside and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, definitely. I think it's really important both when like serving my clients, but also just for me getting my own mindset ready for a wedding day too.
I think that's where this podcast is really for anyone.
Yeah.
Interacting with a wedding, because both as a couple or as people involved in an actual wedding, the wedding itself, but also vendors. And if you're listening to this as a vendor, we both, Asher and I, have said like, this is a key part of our process. I will literally, actually, I do it while I'm working out in the gym. Like while I'm, lifting or whatever, I'll be in my head walking myself through a wedding day.
Yeah.
And it's like a really cathartic, helpful process. And I want the couple to do that, even to do that together, like just physically, like close your eyes and see yourself walking into, say, Graceland Ballroom. What's it like in the lobby? How does it feel to be in the lobby? You take the elevator upstairs, you're in the ballroom. What's to your right? What's to your left? What's straight ahead? Like, what's that feeling when you walk in the room? What does it look like? What colors are there? Like, again, from the very start of the process, I totally agree. Like, begin with how you want to feel and then build all the rest of the pieces. And you know what no one ever tells me they want to feel like? Stressed.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anxious. Angry. No one wants to feel that way.
Right.
So why do so often people get there and they feel that way?
I think a lot of the couples that come to us because they say, I need someone to take the stress away. I don't want to be stressed on my wedding day. And with the visualization aspect, I think it's super important for couples to do this together, alone, without any outside voices coming in, even our voices. It's not about us. It's not about what your mom wants, what your cousin wants, what your friend wants. Visualize what you want and let go of those outside voices and just focus on what you want at the end of the day.
It's amazing what comes through when you're doing that. What pops in is like, oh, I didn't realize that, or that's an interesting feeling, or that's a great idea. I mean, so much comes from this. And again, it sounds woo-woo or almost too simple, but I promise you, try it. If you're beginning to plan a wedding, spend some time visualizing together and on your own. Talk about it. If you're a vendor and you're thinking about going through the day, get your mindset in the right spot by using a visualization tool. And so visualization is really about like putting yourself in it, putting yourself in the room. I want to go on to the next one, which is meditation.
Yeah.
It's pretty much taking yourself out of it and going into a quiet space where you're not actively leading the walkthrough and the visualization, but you're just allowing the quiet. You're allowing your subconscious, your inner voice to come in and to help guide you with maybe some things that you're not even necessarily thinking about, and to just calm your nervous system and to calm yourself. So like Desi just said, a lot of people find their way to us because they're finding themselves feeling anxious, stressed, angry, scared, all of these negative emotions. Our job or goal immediately is to turn them positive. Yeah. Even if I'm just in an inquiry call and maybe they aren't going to be able to work with me, maybe budget doesn't allow or I'm not their right fit, I hope that they've left there knowing that there are tools and that I've put them on a better path to not feeling that way, because it's not necessary. But that finding those pockets of calm internally, individually, even and as a couple or as a vendor, serenity now, right? We have those times on the wedding day where we just need to step aside and do a quick meditation. And meditation can feel very scary to people. Like it's one of those topics I feel like people are like, oh, I don't want to be alone with my thoughts. And I totally relate. But you can literally do it for a minute.
Yeah.
30 seconds. Just shut down all the noise for yourself and see how that feels. See what comes out of that. Maybe you can get 5 minutes in. Like you can start at the smallest amount of time and work up to it. But having that as a practice as you go through wedding planning is going to bring you a lot of serenity.
Totally.
A lot of calm.
Yeah.
Do you have a meditation practice, Asher?
I kind of do that. I do like with my clients throughout the day. So I want to help them that. Like build in these pockets of calm, you know? And I think that like meditation is for some folks can be like a scary word, right? They're like, oh my God, I don't know how to meditate.
Yeah.
So a word I use is like mindfulness, right?
Okay.
Just like the softer cousin of that word.
Totally
so
is.
I'll build this in to the day, and I'll, when we're building the timeline, or I know that this is going to happen when they're working with you guys, like having that post ceremony, like 5 to 10 minute moment. Like I love that.
Yes.
Same with the first look.
Totally. Yeah. And so just like creating those intentional moments is really important. And then my approach to that as a photographer is to help kind of like guide them through those. So it's almost kind of like a guided meditation, guided mindfulness, because I do this all the time. I know what to expect. My nervous system is regulated. Theirs is not regulated because it's such an emotional, beautiful moment, right? So I like to try to take a moment, particularly during a few parts of the day. Bride getting in the dress. I'm like, okay, I'm going to kick everybody out of the room, and whoever is your VIP that's helping you get into your dress is going to be the only person in here, unless you want everybody in here. Then great, right? And I just tell them, let's use like a traditional mom-daughter situation here. I tell mom and the bride, I'm like, hey, this is your guys' moment. Like, time doesn't exist or matter outside of this. You just focus on this moment. Don't worry about how you're looking, how you're posing. It's beautiful. You're beautiful. Oh. So just breathe through this and just have this experience. Don't worry about posing for the photos. This is where we're going to do a little bit more photojournalism and just enjoy this moment together, because this is like a really big deal, right?
Love.
So I let them breathe that in, and then I do the same thing at like first look with like the groom or the partner or the parent, like dad or something like that. I'll go up and I'll tell each of them. Again, let's use, just for the sake of this example, a groom and a bride. I'll go up to the groom. I'll get him in a position. I'm like, dude, how you feeling? Like, you ready for this? I'm like, I know that like the morning's been go, go, go. Like you've been with the guys, now you're here, and it's like all this stuff is happening. And it's like the ceremony's coming up, and I'm like, I want you to just like take a breath with me. And I'll literally do this. I have like my associate that like filmed a behind the scenes moment of me doing this with them. I'm like, just take a breath. And they're like, and I'm like, okay, she's about to come out. You guys are going to see each other for the first time. We're going to make some beautiful photos, but I want you guys to take as much time as you need here, like, and I say the same thing. I'm like, time doesn't exist outside of this moment. Oh, so don't worry about what we're doing next. You guys just take this moment together. And when you're ready, you can turn to me. I'll help move you on to the next thing. Yep. Right. And I think that creating those really intentional moments makes the couple so much more grounded in the moment. Mm-hmm. And then also, for me as a photographer, it just like creates this space where they're able to like process their emotions a little bit more. And they are more emotional and are more emotive because they are able to let go of like the stress of the day or anything like that. Yeah. So I just think it's a beautiful way. And maybe some people would have the opinion that that's like, too invasive, or I'm like manipulating like the scene to make it look a certain way. And that comes from more of like the documentary world of photography, which is great. But I like to have more of like a candid editorial approach, which is like, I want the images to look real and lived in and beautifully candid, but also I want to help create those beautiful moments too, and make them as beautiful as they can be, right? And so that's where that more editorial component comes into play. So yeah, that's my approach and how I do meditation and mindfulness as a photographer towards my clients on a wedding day.
Yeah.
So, or with my clients, I should say.
It's such a gift to be working with vendors that approach things that way.
For sure.
You're not making it about you. You're you're helping him make it even more about them.
Yeah.
And I do something similar around the walking down the aisle.
Yep.
I do too.
And it's usually with the bride and her escort, whether it's dad or her mom or whoever it is. And I tell them, as you approach the end of the aisle or you're approaching the ceremony space, I want you to pause. I want you to take a deep breath.
I do the same
I want you
thing.
to soak it all in, be present in this moment. And when you feel ready, start walking.
Yeah.
And we do this at the rehearsal so that I remind them of this, and they start to practice it. Oh my gosh, that slight just calling out of how to improve that moment or how to really live into that moment, I think has had some of the most impact on all the weddings that I've ever done. Because when they're standing there, they're breathing, they're taking it all in, like that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Like everything is culminating that we've been working on for all this time right now.
Yeah.
And I love that I've been able to give that gift to so many people. And it's what I hope in this podcast, even if you can't have me there, you file that away as a memory, either as a vendor, a photographer, someone who's with the couple, or for the couple themselves to just to like breathe into that moment. And the breath is a big part of meditation. And so harnessing your breath on the wedding day, taking those deep breaths and really just like being in your body. Don't let it pass you by. It's such a fleeting day. And yet there's always plenty of time for those special moments. That's such a great philosophy.
I have just like one more thing to add to that too. Like, this is kind of playing in like selfishly to like a little hobby that I'm really into right now of perfumery.
Oh yes.
But like think of like all of your senses on a wedding day, and you don't need to like run away or have a private moment to practice meditation or mindfulness.
Totally.
You could be in the middle of taking some photos and just pause and like bring your bouquet up to your nose and just breathe those flowers in. You could smell your perfume that you put on, look around, like feel the wind on your face. There's little things that you can do just in each moment throughout the day too, to just like recenter and ground. And as I go about my life, like being into fragrance and perfumery, I like wearing fragrance as a way to just like calm down in a moment, take a break from editing or wherever, and just like, breathe in those florals or citrus or woods or whatever. And I just think it's it's just a really, I think, powerful grounding thing to do. And on a wedding day, you have this beautiful bouquet right in front of you.
Yes.
So I think that using your bouquet as a mindfulness moment is really cool too.
Oh, and the scent of those flowers, that's often, flowers that you really love.
Yeah.
Maybe you love the scent of. I mean, absolutely. I'm so glad that you shared that. It makes me think too of when you're creating the videos. Some of my favorite moments in a wedding video are where you see like the trees rustling, the leaves, the raindrops on a window. Why does that set the scene so perfectly and just creates that all the senses? And you can just feel yourself there. I love that. And that's why I am a huge fan of video, and I tell all my clients that. Oh my gosh.
It just has a special way to be able to access more of those senses. Yeah.
And scent, truly going back to that, is like one of the senses that has the most memory.
Totally.
So often like that scent of those florals is poignant to you because it ties back to memory. And then also you're going to access that in the future. So, oh my gosh, we could go on all day, but we have more to get to. So the next one on this topic is releasing perfection.
Yes.
How many type A couples or brides are out there trying to plan, quote unquote, the perfect wedding?
Yeah. Most of the time, though, with my type A brides, they're so organized and so like they have a plan and that plan's going to happen. And with that, there's certain things that they will not budge on. But then come wedding day, I think they have come to the point where it's like, I've done everything. I'm so happy right now that those little things that they were once so worried about seem to not matter as much anymore.
And how much is the key to that being that they've put their trust in you?
Yeah.
That they're able to let go of perfection.
Yes.
And I'm always striving for that. Whether it's a bride who's done nothing in the planning and then on the wedding day is suddenly like, wants to sink their claws in and have all the control. We see this. Or the bride who's been tightly wound around it, but lets total control go on the wedding day. In either case, I just want them to understand that my goal is not perfection on the wedding day. I call it like the 80-20 rule. Like 80% of this is going to go as planned and 20% is going to be up to the universe, the weather, the whims of like traffic, so many things that are just so far beyond our control. But what I can tell you is when you allow that 20% to not be perfect, it's even better.
Yeah.
It's even better. So I can tell a story from a wedding this past weekend. You can't make this stuff up. And when I'm consulting with clients, I'll tell them like, I couldn't like tell you what's going to happen on your wedding day, but what I can tell you is it could very likely include rainbows, butterflies, like all this dreamy stuff. That stuff happens. It actually happens. So I had a couple where we weren't sure in the timeline how that like golden hour sunset photo was going to fit in.
Totally. It's one of the hardest things to
It's
plan
really
around.
hard to time. You've got a served dinner. You've got all these moving parts. We always put it on with best intentions, hoping that it can work out. And we were at a venue that had like beautiful grassy fields. So like we were committed to making our best to have it happen, but it wasn't exactly sure where in that window was going to happen. So I'm at the table. The photographer's like, do you think I could snag them right now? And dinner service was taking a little longer than we expected. So there, like it opened up a window and I was like, yeah, you know what? Go. I think you should just go because we're just going to play this out, take them, run. They go out to take pictures, photographer, videographer. And then there's like a commotion in the room. And this venue had like kind of an indoor-outdoor vibe. There's like a commotion of guests and they're running to the door. And first thought, I'm like, what is going on? Like, what is the emergency?
Why
are people running to the door?
Like, oh my gosh,
right? Yeah. So I'm like, I gotta follow them.
Yeah.
So I run over. There is a double rainbow, full double rainbow, and it is arcing absolutely over the couple all the way, like this massive rainbow. There wasn't even any rain.
I got chills.
I know.
Wild.
I just like, you cannot make this stuff up. And they just happened to have been out there at this fleeting time. The thing didn't last more than 5 minutes from start to finish. When they got out there, there wasn't a rainbow. All of a sudden they look up. It's the most vibrant rainbow I've ever seen, and double and full.
Yeah.
So you cannot plan that.
Yeah.
I couldn't have planned that they would be out there at that exact moment in that exact scenario. That's just the universe delivering on a promise if you allow, right? Yeah. And so it was especially moving because the bride had lost a loved one, and she had actually asked him to send her thunder, and the night before there was a random wild thunderstorm out of the blue. So we were already buzzing about this. We were like, oh my God, he sent you the thunder. And then he sent the rainbow.
Yeah.
Oh. I mean, it was just, it was epic. So releasing perfection and aiming for more. You want more than perfect. You want rainbows and butterflies and cosmic like wows. And it's why I could go on and on with stories where crazy stuff like this has happened.
I feel like too, there's so many imperfect moments too that you look back on and you're like, no, it was perfect. Like those mishaps in the day, the times where things went wrong. I feel like looking back or at the end of the night, the couple's like, oh, that was fun. That was okay. It was fun. Like
that was the best.
It was the best.
If you laugh, if people laugh, that was the best memory.
Exactly.
The little those kids. Moments of surprise.
Yes.
You know, the little surprise delights.
Surprise and delight, my favorite. Yeah. That's like with a ring bearer flower girl.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to try to force them to walk down the aisle and, I mean, perfectly? No. Let them do what they're going to do. That's what people love. That's what we call memories.
Yeah. That's what people expect too.
Yeah.
Right.
Has there ever been a ring bearer or flower girl that's actually gone just straight down the aisle?
I mean I'm sure. But if they do, they're running so fast you miss them.
Oh, yeah.
Or they forget to throw the petals.
Oh, that's the funniest. And they're
but
just looking around.
All the cute stuff that happens, like that's what it's all made up of. It's not made up of the perfect moments. It's made up of the imperfect and unexpected.
Yeah, this another story actually this past weekend. It's the middle of the ceremony. We get to the moment where they exchange rings.
Oh my God.
We don't have the rings. So I run and go get the rings, and everyone was laughing, but they were like, it wouldn't be our wedding if we didn't forget the rings.
Yeah.
And it was something that we laughed about, and it was imperfectly perfect.
Yeah.
I love that they were able to look at you.
Yes.
And mouth the room number.
Yes.
And then Desi like caught it and ran and got the rings. And that's like the perfect thing where like they knew who to turn to in that moment of realizing they didn't have them, and that you were able to pick up on their subliminal or their lip reading and run and get them. Like it's so good.
It's epic.
And then we got to joke about it the rest of the day. Like me and the officiant joked about it and talked about how perfect the day was. And I was like, you did a great job besides the rings. And he was like, hey now. But it was perfect.
It is. It's the stuff you laugh about, the stories that the family tells.
Yep.
It's letting go of that now so that you can allow all of that to happen later. Oh my gosh. I could do a whole episode on the surprise and delight.
Oh, for sure.
I will.
For sure.
Season 3. We're doing it for sure. This is another one. It goes in line with some of what we've already shared, but like preparing yourself emotionally, feeling the whole weight of the wedding day through visualization, meditation, releasing all this that we've talked about. But I think this is especially raw if there's somebody maybe missing from your wedding day that has passed or is unable to be there. Like, it's okay to be emotional about that. Yeah. Two things can be true at the same time. You can be having the best day ever of your wedding day and sad that your dad can't be there, that you've lost your father. We've had several instances in this past year where loved ones have been lost, and that's part of life. And you can be sad about it, and you can live and breathe and feel into that emotion and prepare yourself for that. But don't hide from it or avoid it. And I've worked with clients on that because I want them to find the ways to honor and be present with the deep emotion. And sometimes it's just like maybe having finally gotten to this point, maybe they've been together a long time, or the planning process has been fraught, or you know, whatever obstacles or hurdles they've crossed, you're finally here. That can be a huge weight of emotion. And so like getting to be like being okay with that. It's an emotional experience. Yeah. For everyone. Maybe that emotion is coming through from the parents. Yeah. My gosh, this is quite the milestone. Yeah. Grandparents, like wherever it's coming from, thinking about it, preparing for it, sitting with it, and ultimately accepting it. Yeah. I bet you see a lot of those moments of emotion as the photographer. Yeah. Like you are intimately like there when it's happening.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, like as the photographer and planners, like we're with them most of the day, you know, more than their own partner is at most weddings, you know? This is a philosophy I carry into every wedding, and it's that, and I'll literally tell people this when we talk about like family photos. I'm like, yeah, it might be the most boring part of the day, but those are the most important photos because like this is probably the only time that all these people have been in this room together. You never know who's going to pass away, you know, and when. Like there's been a few, you know, people that I've known from my wedding career that have passed away. You know, someone's grandpa a week after the wedding. And then in the video, they didn't even tell me. Like, I didn't know this. I didn't know that grandpa passed away. But there was this really beautiful moment that they had with grandpa that's literally like 3 seconds long that I put into like the climax of the film, like when it's really quick editing and stuff like that and just beautiful. And they messaged me back and they were like, that moment is just so special to have captured. Like, thank you for that. Like, he's alive with us in this video.
Oh my God. You know? Again, get the videographer.
Yes.
Yes. Just add that.
Even with the photos too, I love the photos of the family members watching the speeches or watching as like the groom walks down the aisle or as the bride walks down the aisle, because I feel like everyone is always so focused on them. But I feel like as photographers, you also focus those moments, and I love those pictures because you can see how much love that they have in their eyes watching those moments, and I think it's just precious.
That's what I tell my seconds to do, like my associates when I'm shooting the main thing, which is like the groom's reaction, the bride coming down. all that. I'm like, I want you to be focused on the parents, the wedding party. Like you're taking photos of them as I'm taking photos of the bride and groom. And I just, those reaction shots just add so much life to that part of the gallery that like there's already a lot of life, you know, it's a beautiful moment, but they're kind of unexpected, you know?
I love them.
Or like I love like the mom with like a tissue to the face. Like I will hunt for that photo.
Yeah.
I will stare mom down the entire time. I'm just kidding. But I'm like looking for it. I love that photo. I think it's gorgeous.
Because everyone's eyes are always on the bride and groom, but whose eyes are on the mom or the sister or the grandpa?
Yep.
I love that. Yep. Oh my goodness, so much. So as you're preparing for the emotion of the day and you're thinking about this, like, think about how you build those intentional moments throughout the day to either honor an emotion that you're having. Maybe it is someone who's not there with you. Maybe it's between the two of you. Like, I love like the letter reading process. Write each other a letter, capture that, spend some time with that. You know, just thinking about like how you bring emotion in throughout the day and baking it into the plans versus trying to avoid it. Like, it's a wedding day.
Yeah.
Maybe our makeup is done and we cry. It's okay.
Yeah.
That's what the waterproof mascara is for, right?
And the best stories have conflict. They have like rise and fall and like all these sorts of things. So it's like, when it comes to making like a wedding video, I lean into a lot of the emotion in everything that I do, photo and video. And so I think about this particularly with a video is like when you think about stories, like there's like the positive outcomes, but there's also like the weight of that success and feeling that payoff comes from the conflict and the journey that the main character has been on. So like for a wedding film, I think that the more interesting and meaningful wedding films balance the, you know, the sadness and longing of our loved ones that maybe aren't there with the happiness of the celebration and joy. And I think that makes for such a dynamic, you know, contrast in the film and just makes it that much more joyous and emotional because we're acknowledging all of these different facets of life on a day that is seeded with so much positivity, but, you know, remembering and honoring that there's a reason we're documenting these photos and there's a reason we're documenting these videos and these moments, you know? So trying to balance that weight of the positive celebration, but also with, you know, some of the sadness too. And I think that makes for just like a better story. And especially if you think of any story or any movie. I mean, you know, there's that payoff, right?
There isn't a Disney movie where something sad doesn't happen.
Exactly.
There's no fairy tale where everything was perfect. That it wouldn't be a good story.
Right.
So part of your wedding story is the highs and the lows.
Definitely.
Well, we're at the last of the tips for how to really lead a heart-centered wedding journey. And this is one that I'm all about, and I talk about it all the time. And I like to relate it to Lake Superior because she's our muse, the Great Lake Superior in Duluth. But like, this is all going to come in waves, and we can't control the waves. And so the best thing you can do in wedding planning on the wedding day or in life in general is get in the flow. Roll with the flow. And I'll say that to people, we're going to have a timeline. It's that 80%. And then we're going to go with the flow. And we're going to make the best of whatever the waves are doing or however we're feeling, the waves of emotion, the actual weather, like whatever's going on. If we're rolling with it and we're flowing with it, the best outcomes are going to happen, which goes to all of the other things that we've shared here today. And so leaning into going with the flow, expressing that as a strategy to everyone involved before we even get to the wedding day. Right? Like, hey, anxious mom, tomorrow we're going to go with the flow. That's the plan. The plan is we're going to let it go. Like I have those conversations with people leading up to the wedding, the week before, really prepping through the whole process, but really digging in right at the end at the rehearsal. Hey, tomorrow I need you all to go with the flow. It's like in a play, right? Or on stage when something goes wrong on stage, if everybody else on the stage just goes in the flow as if that was intentional, the audience doesn't know.
100%.
So on the wedding, we're putting on a big production. If something doesn't quite go as planned, we're just going to go with the flow and act as if it's intentional. And your guests will respond accordingly. also in situations like say it is a weather issue. Maybe there's an unexpected rainstorm. Everyone knows that you didn't plan it that way.
Yeah. No one's mad at you that it's raining.
They're not mad at you. They feel bad. They wish it wasn't this way for you, you know?
Right.
So if you demonstrate to them that you're going with the flow, they will jump right along with you. And the next thing you know, everyone's running, grabbing umbrellas, and it's merrymaking and making the best of it. And but it's really about the mindset and the attitude that the couple takes and that the immediate family takes about how we're going to approach these situations that influences the rest of the guests. And you can think about this. And I always tell people, think back to a wedding you've attended. I want you to close your eyes and visualize you're at a wedding, and there's disruption in the room. There's some unrest. There's some drama. Everyone knows. Everyone can sense the sour bride, the couple who's bickering, the bridesmaid who's unhappy. Everyone in the room knows this is happening. You can't hide it. And what do they talk about after the wedding? Not the centerpieces. They're hopping on the train of what was the drama, right?
Yeah.
What I want you to lean into is not giving them that drama by just going with the flow.
Yeah.
Be nonplussed on that wedding day. You don't have to be bothered by the little things. And let's not bring the little things to the couple to bother them with. I also say at a rehearsal, I have one rule, and tomorrow it's that you do not bother the bride and groom. You do not bother their parents.
That's
Come
why
find
we're
me.
here.
That's why we're here. You can tell me
Exactly.
all this, and I will solve your problems. If they need to know, I will find a way to deliver that information in a way that's not going to disrupt their day. So I want everyone to think about going with the flow, being in the waves, allowing things to happen as they're meant to happen, and to start practicing that mindset shift and that intentionality well before the wedding. Like, try this in other parts of your life. So by the time you get to the wedding day, you're realizing like, this is actually a pretty great way to live. I'm going to bring this practice to the wedding day. And I promise you, like, and also I have to continue to practice. This is a practice. I have to remind myself of this every day. But I'm always grateful when I realize the best things come when I don't try to control them.
And as the couple who's been planning, and as the family member or family that's been involved in the family, you have done everything in the planning process that you can control. You can control what food people are eating. You can control the decorations. You can't control the wind messing up the draping on the arch. You have done everything. Everything is out of your control. Just let go and let the wind blow the drape, and it's okay.
Oh my gosh, that's a perfect moment to wrap this conversation up on. I already feel like I'm ready to go. I'm like, I need to go to a wedding right now. I'm ready to rock this. I am centered and ready to help. And I hope that anyone listening is feeling that too. Like, sensing what we're bringing to this conversation as truly tools that can be even more important than the best laid plan. And I want people to just think about how to implement this into their planning process and on their wedding day, either as a vendor or as a couple or as a bridesmaid, maybe just a supportive friend. Like, how can you help to get into this heart-centered, mindful headspace? Promise you, it's the secret sauce. And then we'll talk about what's going to be on the centerpiece. So thank you for listening. Thank you, Asher, for just bringing so much wisdom. I mean, am I right? He's awesome.
Oh, thanks.
You want this guy.
I love
to
you
be
guys
at your
so
wedding.
much.
And Desi always just, I don't know, just such a compliment to me and to our practice at True North Weddings of supporting couples. I feel like you add so much calm to the process, and we're so lucky to have you. And I just feel so blessed to have a place to share all of this that's been bottled up inside me over all these years of real life wedding moments and being able to just like say it. I'm like, oh, this feels cathartic. I just want to share. I want people to be able to experience this. So thank you for listening and providing a place for that. If you think this episode could be useful, helpful to a friend, a fellow wedding vendor, a mom, a dad, whoever you think might need to listen, please share it with them. And then like and subscribe to the podcast so that you can find out when season 3 is launching. We're almost done with this season, and I promise you we're going to be fast on getting you more episodes because we still have a lot of topics to cover. So thank you. If you feel compelled to leave a review, we'd be thrilled with that too. So thanks for listening to the True North Weddings podcast, and we'll see you in the next episode. Thank you for joining me on another episode of the True North Weddings podcast. I hope today's conversation has filled your heart with inspiration and excitement for your journey down the aisle. Remember, love is the compass that guides us all, and I'm here to help you navigate that every step of the way. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review us on your favorite podcast platform. And until next time, keep following your true north. And if you need a little bit more help along the way, you can always find me at truenorthweddingsduluth.com. Remember, just by listening to this podcast, you're already pointed in the right direction.